Now, the control of the centers, which is established in a hypnotic patient or the patient of faith healing for a time, is utterly reprehensible because it leads to ultimate ruin. It is not really controlling the brain centers by the power of one's own will, but is, as it were, stunning the patient's mind for a time by sudden blows which another's will delivers to it. It is not checking by means of reins and muscular strength the mad career of a fury team, but rather by asking another to deliver heavy blows on the heads of the horses to stun them for a time into gentleness. At each one of these processes, the man operated upon loses a part of his mental energies, and at last, the mind, instead of gaining the power of perfect control, becomes a shapeless, powerless mass, and the only goal of the patient is the lunatic asylum. Every attempt at control which is not voluntary, not with the controller's own mind, is not only disastrous but it defeats the end. The goal of each soul is freedom, mastery, freedom from slavery of matter and thought, mastery of external and internal nature. Instead of leading towards that, every will current from another, in whatever form it comes to man, either as direct control of my organs or as forcing me to control them while under a morbid condition, only reveals one link more to the already existing heavy chain of bondage of past thoughts, past superstition. Therefore, beware how you allow yourself to be acted upon by others. Beware how you unknowingly lead another to ruin. True, some succeed in doing good to many for a time by giving a new turn to their propensities, but at the same time, they bring ruin to millions by the unconscious hypnotic suggestions they throw around, rousing in man and woman that morbid, passive, hypnotic condition which makes them almost soulless at last. Whosoever therefore asks anyone to believe blindly or drags mankind behind him through controlling it by his superior will is an injurer to humanity, though he may not have intended it. Therefore, use your own minds, control body and mind yourselves. Remember that until you are a diseased person, no extraneous will can work upon you, and avoid everyone however great and good he may be, who asks you to blindly believe all over the world there have been dancing and jumping and hauling sects who spread like infections when they begin to sing and dance and preach. They also come under this heading. They exercise a singular control for the time being over sensitive persons. Alas, often in the long run, to degenerate whole races, it is healthier for the individual or the race to remain wicked than to be made apparently good by such morbid extraneous control. One's heart sinks to think of the amount of injury done to humanity by such irresponsible yet well meaning religious fanatics. They little know that the minds which attain to certain spiritual upheaval under their suggestions with music and prayers are simply making themselves passive, morbid, and powerless, and opening themselves to any other suggestion, but it ever so evil. Little do those ignorant, deluded persons dream that whilst they are congratulating themselves upon their miraculous power to transform human hearts, which power they think was poured upon them by some being above the cloud, they are sowing the seeds of some future decay of crime, of lunacy, and of death. Therefore, beware of everything that takes away your freedom. Know that it is dangerous and avoid it by all the means in your power. He who succeeded in attaching or detaching his mind to or from the centers at will has succeeded in pratyahara, which means gathering towards, checking the outgoing powers of the mind, feeling it from the thraldom of the senses. When we can do this, we really possess a character, then alone shall we have made a long step towards freedom. Before that, we are mere machines. How hard it is to control the mind. Well, has it been compared to the maddened monkey? There was a monkey, restless by his own nature, as all monkeys are, as if that were not enough. Someone made him drink freely of wine, so that he became still more restless. Then a scorpion stung him. When a man is stung by a scorpion, he jumps about for a whole day, so the poor monkey found his condition worse than ever. To complete his misery, a demon entered into him. What language can describe the uncontrollable restlessness of that monkey? The human mind is like that monkey, incessantly active by its own nature. Then it becomes drunk with the wine of desire, thus increasing its turbulence. After desire takes possession comes the sting of a scorpion of jealousy of others whose desires meet with fulfillment. And last of all, the demon of pride takes possession of the mind, making it think itself of all importance. How hard to control such a mind. The first lesson then is to sit for some time and let the mind run on. The mind is bubbling up all the time. It is like that monkey jumping about. Let the monkey jump as much as he can. You simply wait and watch. Knowledge is power, says the proverb. And that is true. Until you know what the mind is doing, you cannot control it. Give it the full length of the reins. Many, most hideous thoughts may come into it. You will be astonished that it was possible for you to think such thoughts. But you will find that each day the mind's vagaries are becoming less and less violent, that each day it is becoming calmer. In the first few months, you will find that the mind will have 1,000 thoughts. Later, you will find that it is toned down to perhaps 700, and after a few more months, it will have fewer and fewer until at last it will be under perfect control. But we must patiently practice every day. As soon as the stream is turned on, the engine must run, and as soon as things are before us, we must perceive. So, a man, to prove that he is not a machine, must demonstrate that he is under the control of nothing. This controlling of the mind and not allowing it to join itself to the center is pratyahara. How is this practices? It is a long work, not to be done in a day. Only after a patient, continuous struggle for years can we succeed.